Hello, YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122, and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today, we are going to be doing another album review. Today, we are going to be reviewing the latest studio album from Finnish Power Metal legends Sonata Arctica, entitled Clear Cold Beyond. At this point, this is their 11th full-length studio album, and the first in about 4 or 5 years. 5 years. Since 2019's Talvio, which is one of my favorite albums from Sonata Arctica. I'm a big fan of their first two records, Ecliptica and Silence, the former of which is one of my favorite power metal records of all time and possibly my favorite debut album of all time. That album is just so good. And I'm also a big fan of the power metal stuff that they did in the 2000s, like albums like Winter Hearts Guild, Reckoning Night, Unaya, and The Days of Grey. And I also like their previous three albums, Pariah's Child, The Ninth Hour, and the aforementioned Talvio. The only album from them that I don't like is 2012's Stones Grow Her Name. I just thought that album was just way too cheesy and way too stupid and just way too over the top. But I mean, everything else in their discography has just been ridiculously consistent and just really good. Of course, Sonata Arctica, they're led by their lead singer, Tony Kakko, who has a great voice. He's one of my favorite European power metal vocalists. He has a very unique voice. It's not like any other singer in the power metal scene. It's very aggressive, but at the same time very operatic at the same time. The guitar player, Elias Viljanen, is a really great guitar player. He has a very nice flow, and he makes some great riffs. Same thing with the keyboard player, Henrik Klingenberg. He's one of my favorite keyboard players in all of metal. He is just a wickedly talented keyboard player. And then the rhythm section, of course, from Pasi on the bass, Pasi Kalponen, and the drummer, Tommy Portino, just rounds out a solid rhythm section and just a really great band. And with Clear Cold Beyond in particular, this is their 11th album, as I said. And this album basically continues what the previous three albums had already established, except now we're seeing Sonata Arctica return to their power metal roots, musically speaking anyway. A lot of the songs are a lot faster, a lot of the songs are a lot more punchier, and a lot of the songs just feel like power metal songs. What more can I say? But my biggest gripe, before we get into the tracks, I will just go ahead and say this. I will be looking at Tony Kakko's vocals a lot throughout the course of this video, mostly because this album showcases his voice in a very mellow type of range. Like, his voice is very mellow, but it's still aggressive. It's still very raspy and stuff. But I mean, I know at this point in his career, he's not able to hit those higher notes like he did on their power metal records from the 2000s. You cannot sing like he did on Sonata Arctica's first 5 or 6 albums and expect that to last you long term. It just won't happen, no matter how good you take care of your voice. It's just not gonna happen. And with these previous 3 records, we've seen Tony Kakko sing in a much more mellow, mid-range, upper mid-range vocal range. And, I actually really like that side of him. So, whatever I say about Tony Kakko throughout the course of the video, just take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because, he does a really solid job on this album. I think it's a little bit unfair to compare his vocal performance on here to his vocal performance on like Ecliptica or Silence or anything, because as I said, he's not he's at the age where he's not able to do that anymore. Um, I'm just, you know, I just love his voice so much. So here we go. So track number one, the first in line. This is one of the singles released from this album, and I think this is a pretty solid track. I just think that there is a lot of songs that are better here. With this, I actually like the music. Like the instrumentation here is very solid. The power metal, the power metal blast beats and speed and double bass, fast riffs and fast and crazy keyboard lines, they're all here. This musically speaking, this takes me back to the Ecliptica and the Silence days, but vocally, this feels like a song that could have been on the Ninth Hour or Talvio or something like that. It's just a great marriage between the two eras of Sonata Arctica, but at the same time, I feel like it just like when the vocals come in, I'm just kind of thrown out of the mood on this song. But I mean, as the song goes on, you get used to it. It's just a very jarring start, but it's great. First in line, very good track. I just think there are better songs. The next song, California, I like this song a lot. Like with First in Line, this is a very power metal song, but now we see Tony Kakko get more into the upper mid range. Where a song like this really belongs in. Like if he's not able to hit those super high notes anymore, upper mid range is good enough for this type of song at this point in his career, in my opinion at least. But what can I say? Then we get to the weakest song on the album, Shamat. This is literally the only song on the album that I can't remember a single thing from, honestly. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's a song by Sonata Arctica. It exists. Whatever. Moving on. The next song is Dark End Path. This is another one of the singles that was released for this album, and this is a really good song. This is the first banger on this album. California was great and all, but Dark Empath blows it out of the water. It is just so freaking killer. Definitely one of Sonata Arctica's best songs, in my opinion, or at least in the top 20 for me, at least. I really love this song. The next one is Cure for Everything. This is a power ballad. It's a little bit of a slower song. This kind of feels like a song that could have been on a record like Talvio. It's very icy, it's very cold, but at the same time, it's so atmospheric. And that's exactly what a song on Talvio is supposed to be. But I mean, this song, Cure for Everything, is just a fantastic song. I love it. But we haven't even gotten to my favorite song on the record. That belongs to the next track, A Monster Only You Can't See. I love the music in this song, especially near the end where they alternate between vocals and a triplet guitar riff. It is so cool. It's really cool. It just flows so well. This is definitely the best track on the record when it comes to flow, like musical flow, if that makes sense. It just feels very natural and very genuine. And of course, it's catchy as I'll get out. I love this song. All right, and then the next song is another ballady song, Teardrops. This is I keep going back to either this one or Dark Empath as being my second favorite song on the record. But give it time. These two might change, but for right now it's Teardrops. This song is just so beautiful. It is just so beautiful in every way, shape, and form. This really feels like a song, like a ballad that sounds a little bit like Love from Pariah's Child or Candle Blondes from the Ninth Hour. It just feels so well made and well written. I just love this song. Um, and then the next song on here, Angel Defiled. This one honestly caught me by surprise because I was expecting this one to be another ballad about an angel or something, but it's actually the exact opposite. This is a very rocking song. This is another one of those power metal songs on the record, and this one actually, when it comes to the marriage between the music and the vocals, it is just so good. So good. Love this song. Then the next one is The Best Things, and while I think this is a great song, this is another one of my least favorite songs on the album, but I mean it's a great song nonetheless. But I do like it more than The First in Line and Shamat. Those two songs are the only two meh songs for me on this album. The Best Things is a great song. I just think it's a little bit weaker compared to everything else that we've been through from Dark Empath up to this point. So, yeah. And then the final track is the title track, Clear Cold Beyond. And this is a great album closure. It's ambitious, it's atmospheric, it's basically anything that you could want in a modern Sonata Arctica album. It feels very genuine, it feels very natural, and when you really pay attention to their previous three albums, you really hear a lot of different connections with the title track here and anything on their previous three albums. Like I said, it's atmospheric, it's icy, it's dark, it's so freaking good. Basically, the title track is another one of my favorite songs on the album. It's probably my fourth favorite, honestly. Yeah, and with that, we've reached the end of the album. So there are 10 songs on this record. All of them are very good, at the very least. So with that said, I'm going to have to give this album a solid 9 out of 10. I think this is a very solid album. I think this is a great album. And for Sonata Arctica, who have been around since 1995, so they've been kicking around at almost 30 years, they're definitely doing a good job with maintaining that great consistency that I love from them. Where it rank now, where Clear Cold Beyond ranks in their overall discography, I like this album more than Pariah's Child and The Ninth Hour, but this is where it gets hard, because there might be a day where I put Clear Cold Beyond ahead of Talvio, but for right now, I like Talvio just a tad bit more, so Talvio, Days of Grey, Silence, and Ecliptica still round out my top four, but now Clear Cold Beyond takes the number 5 spot. Yeah, if you haven't seen my Sonata Arctica album ranking that I did pretty recently, then you can go back on Magic Metal Mondays and watch that. You could get a better understanding of what I think of their discography and all that fun stuff. So, there you go. So with that said, that concludes the review of Clear Cold Beyond. I'd go check it out. 9 out of 10. Very good album. Alright, so with that said, that concludes this edition of Magic Metal Mondays. Thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is Water Dive 122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thanks for watching.